Captain, let me come to you with this. The argument that there are killings, you said there are certain facts. There are killings in Nigeria.
Of course.
Christians are being killed.
I agree.
Muslims are being killed.
I agree.
Communities attacked.
I agree.
Why should the U.S. single out and say it's a genocide against Christians and try to play the religious card? I think that is where the problem is.
Yes. In all these things, there's geopolitics and there's also local politics. Donald Trump won an election in 2016, campaigning to evangelical Christians in America that he is going to protect Christianity all over the world. And they gave him maximum support. He won re-election again on the same promise that he is going to protect Christianity anywhere in the world. That is the local angle to it, right? And so he is trying to fulfill the promise that he has made to his staunchest supporters back home in the United States. And it's a win for him. You see, this is not the time for us to start arguing with Donald Trump or start antagonizing Donald Trump's administration. This is a time for us to engage in active strategic diplomacy. And that is why I have said that if I were to advise our president, I will not try to take ownership of what happened during Buhari's administration and what happened during Goodluck Jonathan's administration, because those two administrations failed to rein in this insecurity that we have in this country. We cannot have a country where insecurity is the norm. We can't. The prof who is there knows that this country has been very unsafe, and Nigerians have been complaining to their leaders to rein in insecurity. Yes, Christians are being killed, Muslims are being killed, but the truth of the matter is who is doing the killing. Boko Haram is an Islamic terrorist organization that emerged in this country on the premise that they want to establish an Islamic state within the sovereign state of Nigeria, where they will practice Sharia law. And Donald Trump will not play the genocide card if he says that Muslims are killing their fellow Muslims, because that wouldn't amount to genocide. Genocide is when one group of people is trying to eliminate a different group of people. And so the easiest way, let me just finish this thought. So the easiest way for Donald Trump administration to establish genocide is to say that Muslims are killing Christians. And Muslims are killing Christians, whether it's in the northeast or the northwest or even in the middle belt. Muslim terrorist organizations are killing Christians. And that is the premise at which Donald Trump administration is trying to establish genocide.
All right, Captain, we hear you. But you heard when Prof said that it seems as if the U.S. narrative is more about twisting Nigeria. How much of Trump's rhetoric is about humanitarian concern, and how much is about strategic positioning, influence, resources, and soft power competition in the West Africa? You mentioned that earlier when you were speaking in your opening remark. I'd like you to establish that. Now,
Donald Trump is transactional in his leadership style. There is no argument about that. But at the same time, we cannot dismiss some of the issues that are being raised by his administration. Now, you don't need to look any further than what is happening in South Africa. What I'm trying to do is to advise on practical steps that our government can take to avert what could be a looming catastrophe for us. I don't care about the things. I'm a military officer. I believe I'm a practical person. You know, I don't believe in the grammar of international law and international politics. We believe in practicality. We have seen people propose all kinds of proposals in the classroom, and when we go out to the field and we apply those things, and they fail woefully. Okay? So what I'm trying to propose is a practical advice that this administration will take to avert, to clear up the area. Because some of the issues that are raised are facts. It's not coincidence that the senator who is leading this argument in the U.S. Senate is from Texas. Texas has one of the largest population of Nigerians around the Houston area, Sugarland area, for example. And these Nigerians are doing well, highly educated. They are captains of industries. They are doing fantastically well. And Senator Ted Cruz is hearing from them. They are some of his supporters. They donate to his campaign. So anybody who thinks that U.S. does not know what is happening in Nigeria is making a grave mistake. They know what is happening in Nigeria. And some of the things they are saying that is happening in Nigeria is actually happening in Nigeria. They are in the public domain. Now, take example, what happened in South Africa. What happened in South Africa is a similar thing that is happening in Nigeria right now. And this is the same strategy that the Donald Trump administration is using. What they used in South Africa is what they are also using here. In South Africa, what was the issue? That the ANC-led administration, ANC is a purely almost black political party in South Africa, was taking land away from white farmers and killing them. And so they were trying to establish racism and genocide against minority white. Because you have to establish genocide for you to be able to come in. And that is why I brought the issue of responsibility to protect. Okay. Every sovereign nation has a responsibility to protect its citizens from 4 categories of atrocities. 1, genocide. 2, war crimes. 3, ethnic cleansing. And 4, crime against humanity. And in a situation where it is established that any one of these atrocious crime is taking place, the international community has a responsibility to step in and stop it before it gets worse.
All right, to step in and before it gets worse. Prof, let me come to you with this question. Now, with this, how can Nigeria rally other international partners? We have ECOWAS, we have the UN, we have the Commonwealth, we even have the OIC, so that we don't get to a point where there's a narrative being pushed to isolate Nigeria. How can we get this through the backdoor diplomacy to begin to talk with the US?
You see, you always ask very beautiful, very thought-provoking questions. But you do not always allow in-depth analysis of issues that are made and that are connected. Because you see, when the captain will make some submissions that, I don't know how to describe that, and then you ask another question, it's not good enough, because you will not be able to have correct analysis. You ask me, what can we do? There are many ways like that. When, for instance, the captain says the international community has responsibility to do so, does the United States constitute the international community, for instance? Does it constitute the international community? It does not. We even have the concept of the free willing states. When it becomes difficult for the United Nations to act, those who have the power and the means, they will take that one. I am saying that, look, under no circumstance can a Donald Trump constitute itself as the international community are now trying to take the decision.
So how do we get out of this?
Now, what Nigeria can do? Pardon?
Donald Trump is already doing that. He's already intervening. So how do we get out of this?
Yes, precisely. You see, I raised that one as a prolegomena to the analysis. How to get out of it? 1, the intervention must be vehemently opposed. All right? Vehemently opposed. The way Yusuf Tuga had responded is so beautiful. They said that, look, if the United States wants to dialogue, assist in containing terrorism, in combating insecurity, Nigeria would be happy. And they said that one would be welcome. But when it comes to disrespecting Nigeria as a sovereign state, now threatening our territorial integrity, we will not accept that. That is the first thing the media, the scholars, to begin to sustain. When, for instance, a practical man looking at it from practice, and I agree with the captain, he's talking as a practical man, but he easily forgets that the practicality he's talking about is derived from theories. It is what the teachers of brand strategy in the universities teach them that they are practicalizing. Experience is always as a result of activity. So in this case, Donald Trump must not take Nigeria as a banana republic. We have our problems. Insecurity has been there for long. I can tell you that if Donald Trump were given the opportunity to come and govern Nigeria, it's a place where you have the institutions working, regulations. Nigeria is more complex than the United States. Even if America is more populous, more powerful, we need to get these things. After vehemently opposing the intervention, the next thing will be to use the mechanism of the ECOWAS to re-strategize. This is the beauty of the strategic autonomy that Bola Akinterinwa is proposing. That, look, Nigeria needs to be self-reliant. If Nigeria is self-reliant, then Africa can be made self-reliant too. By this level of diplomacy, the intervention is still at the level of crisis. It's not yet deepening to the level of conflict. There should be special campaigns against that to sensitize the whole world, to draw the attention of the American people, Donald Trump in particular, that the disregard for international law should not be extended to Nigeria.
All right, Prof.
It is Donald Trump that, okay.
All right, Prof, we hear you.
Yes, I'm listening.
Yes, we hear you, but I would like to know, because now you're saying reject this in its entirety, right? Now, how much of this has an influence on, you know, emboldening this extremist group and also deepening how the world sees us, the narrative out there? What do you think the implications of this kind of statements on our own image and also in emboldening the extremist groups?
Well, you see, if I give you my own thinking as a special school of thought, the insecurity in Nigeria has a recidivist character. Why? Those who are coming, giving us the prayer that they want to come and help us, I am saying they are likely to be responsible for aiding and abetting the recidivist character. That's the one. Now, when you ask me that type of question, my answer will be that, okay, don't help us. Let us alone. Necessity, we have always been told, is the mother of invention. Then you will see that when Nigerians are left alone to fight the Boko Haramis alone, they will find solution. But when, for instance, those who manufacture weapons in Europe, in America, and they do not have means of selling, there has to be trouble. They have to foment trouble. They have to create situational realities where their weapons will be sold. This is why they aid and abet. You create problems, you destroy Gaza, then you come and propose, aid, humanitarian assistance. This is the reality of international politics.